Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Plan B Life Coach Training Series. I'm Amir Farhangy, and if this is your first time here, this channel is devoted to sharing my insights and reflections from my coaching training experiences. Some episodes will be part of a training program that I've initiated through my website. If you appreciate the quality and the value of the content in these videos, I would be grateful if you could support me by subscribing and sharing the channel with your friends. This episode focused on the skill of maintaining discipline. As usual, I encourage you to have your journal, pen and paper ready so that you can explore your own insights and craft a piece of wisdom alongside me. I also request your complete attention and mindfulness, which is why I will prompt you to practice mindful breathing throughout the program to help regain your focus when necessary. Great, let's start. Taking care of things feels great, doesn't it? We all love that feeling of completing tasks and doing things that make us feel good. Like when you finally wrap up that big project at work that's been looming over you, or when you actually make it to the gym after debating with yourself all day. Maybe it's choosing a healthy meal over that tempting junk food. These are the little victories that help us feel well and keep us on track with our goals. But let's be honest, we don't always feel like doing what's good for us. Sometimes discipline slips through our fingers. We might struggle to keep up with our gym routine, hitting a snooze instead of hitting the treadmill. Maybe we indulge in foods that leaves us feeling sluggish, or we pour another drink when we know we've had enough. There are nights when we stay up way too late, scrolling through our phones, and the next morning, paying for it. And you're not alone. If you find it tough to drag yourself to the gym in the morning, sometimes that warm bed just wins the battle, and the gym shoes stay untouched. Or maybe you plan to eat healthy, but somehow those sweets and snacks keep finding their way into your hands. It's like they're calling your name from the kitchen. And it's not just about health. Work also can throw us off too. Never find yourself procrastinating, putting off that report you need to write. Suddenly, organizing your desk or checking social media feels way more important. Remember, this exercise needs your input as well. So grab a pen and paper and think about any areas in your life where keeping up with discipline has been a challenge. Whatever comes to mind, take a moment to write it down. Now, let's dive a little deeper. How do these lapses in discipline affect you? Indulging in junk food leaves you feeling sluggish or gives you digestive issues. When we procrastinate at work, we end up rushing projects and not doing our best. Staying up too late, binge watching shows leaves us exhausted the next morning. Make it hard to focus. However this slip-ups impacts you, take another minute to write it down. Recognize the effects can be a real eye-opener. So pause the video and write it down in your journal. Great job on taking that honest look at yourself. It's important to acknowledge the results of our action, to really see what's going on. But hey, this isn't about feeling bad if we slip up every now and then. Losing discipline happens to all of us, and that's perfectly normal. The idea is to use this awareness to help us make changes that move us toward our goals, make us feel healthy and strong, and help us live the life we truly want. It's about progress, not perfection. And our brains are pretty amazing. They are designed to maximize pleasure and minimize pain, constantly working behind the scenes. It's like we have this internal radar that always assessing things, judging what's good or bad for us. That's why we naturally gravitate towards comfort and things that make us feel good in the moment. And that explains why there is often a conflict between what's good for us in the short term and what's beneficial in the long run. And here's the thing about discipline. It usually doesn't feel great right away. That's a cost to discipline. And we feel that cost immediately. And imagine this scenario. You've got a paper to write, but all of a sudden your friend invites you to go out. Turning down that invitation isn't easy. You might feel like you're missing out on all the fun. That fear of missing out is powerful, isn't it? But here is the flip side. In the long term, staying in to write your paper is probably the better option. You will get it done, feel the satisfaction of doing a great job, and reap the reward of a good grade. All those positive outcomes are down the road though. Right now, you're feeling that sting of saying no. So we find ourselves in a dilemma between our short-term desire and our long-term goals. It's a tough balancing act between pleasure now and potential pain, or a bit of discomfort now and a greater satisfaction down the line. It's like choosing between that instant gratification or waiting for a bigger payoff later. So here I want you to recognize the short-term rewards your brain prioritizing for you. A moment of reflection. Think about a time when you face that classic trade-off between short-term pleasure and long-term benefits. Maybe you really wanted that extra piece of cake. It looked so delicious. The immediate satisfaction was tempting, but deep down, you knew you would feel better if you stopped at just one slice. Or perhaps there was a day when we just didn't feel like working out, skipping the gym to binge a few more episodes of our favorite show sounded way more appealing. The couch was comfy, the Netflix was suggesting the new episode. It was almost too easy to give in. Another example, you choose to have a couple of drinks with friends instead of catching up on some work you needed to finish. The idea of unwinding sounded great, and you told yourself you'd make up for it later. So what was the short-term reward in these moments? Was it the taste of that sweet dessert, the relaxation of just chilling out, or the fun of spending time with friends? So have a moment of reflection and write them down. It's important to recognize these instances so we can understand ourselves better. And as we talked about it, that immediate reward often comes at the expense of our long-term goals. Choosing short-term pleasure feels great now, but it can set us back in ways that truly matter. Now I want you to reflect and this time identify the long-term reward. Okay, let me give you a few examples. That extra piece of cake meant missing out on feeling healthier and more confident. It tasted amazing, but perhaps you felt sluggish afterwards, or it slowed your progress towards your health goals. Skipping the workout might have cost you the energy boost you usually enjoy. Those extra episodes of Netflix were fun, but maybe the next day you felt less energetic or regretted not sticking to your routine. Having those extra drinks with friends could have left you less prepared for work the next day. The night out was a blast, but facing the morning tired or unfocused wasn't ideal. So what was the long-term reward you traded for immediate gratification? Better health? More energy? feeling prepared and confident? Recognizing what we give up can help us make choices that align more closely with what we truly want. So take a moment and jot it down. Great. So you have noticed how we are often torn between what we want now and what's better for us later. It's because of a mechanism in our brain called temporal discounting. It means we tend to value immediate rewards more than future ones, even if the future reward is bigger. Picture this. Someone offers you $50 right now, or $100 if you're willing to wait a month. Which one would you choose? A lot of us would grab the $50 today because getting something immediately feels more satisfying. Waiting even for double the money just doesn't seem as appealing in the moment. This is how our brains are wired. We prefer the instant gratification over delayed rewards, even when the delayed reward is better. Understanding this can help us see why sticking to long-term goals can be challenging. Bringing this back to our discipline, we've got that future reward, our goals, our long-term achievements, and then we've got the immediate gratification tempting us in the moment. Our minds often favor short-term gains, the quick fixes, and in doing so, we discount those long-term benefits. This tendency gets in the way of our discipline and can derail us from reaching our goals. And here's where our thoughts play a role. When our brains crave an immediate reward, they often try to give us permission to indulge. It's like they're telling us a story that makes it feel okay to ignore our long-term goals. For example, imagine you've been following a new eating plan and feeling fantastic. You have more energy, improved focus, better sleep. Things are going great. Now, it's the end of the week and you spot a box of cookies at the store. You know you will probably finish the whole box if you buy them, so you're about to walk away. But then, all of a sudden, a little voice in your head speaks up. You've been good all week. You deserve some cookies. Go on, have some now. You can always exercise more tomorrow. Our mind just gave us a story that makes reaching for the cookies feel okay. It's tough to resist that voice, isn't it? This is where a technique called shifting permission comes in handy. Shifting permission is a practice of awareness. It helps us to spot these kind of thoughts and change them so we can stick to our goals and maintain our discipline. All right, let's get started. So first of all, as mentioned before, this practice needs your full mindfulness. Begin by settling into the present moment with a gentle, centering breath. Taking a nice, easy inhale through the nose and then slowly exhale out through the mouth. A nice inhale through the nose and a slowly exhaling out through the mouth. There you go. Now, think of a time when you chose a short-term reward over a long-term one. A moment when maintaining discipline was tough. Picture that time as clearly as you can, especially the moment you were deciding. Remember the emotions and conflict you felt. Now ask yourself, what was the permission-giving thought your mind came up with? Maybe it was something like, go ahead, have one more drink, or you can always sleep it off tomorrow, or it tells you to skip the gym because resting sounds better, even though you know the gym will energize you. Whatever that permission-giving thought was, take a moment to write it down. Great job. Now let's analyze that thought. It probably left something out, like the cost of giving in, the long-term gains we are sacrificing, and the goals we've set that move us towards the life we truly want. Ask yourself, what did my permission-giving thought overlook? Maybe it just wasn't true. Understanding this can help us stay disciplined and focus on what really matters. Recognizing these patterns can help us understand how our mind works and make better choices in the future. Whatever example come to your mind, take a moment to write them down. Great job. This simple exercise can really highlight those subtle permission-giving thoughts that often fly under our radar but have a big impact on our behavior. Remember, no one is disciplined all the time, and that's perfectly okay. We're not aiming for perfection here. Sometimes we will blow our diet, skip a workout, or stay up too late. It's part of being human. But this practice is like adding a small but steady weight to the escape, helping to shift momentum in our favor. Every little decision, every mindful breath, every moment of discipline, it all adds up. So again, before we wrap up, let's take a second to center ourselves. And what I am trying here is to induce you into a mindful state to repeat the main points of this lesson. So, when you're ready, close your eyes, take a slow, deep breathing through your nose. Feel your belly expand. Now exhale gently through your mouth, letting your belly soften. Let's do this one more time. Inhale slowly and steady, and exhale, letting go of any tension. When we stick to our plans, when we show up for ourselves, it reinforces our self-trust. Science tells us that self-control isn't just about resisting temptation. It's about making choices that align with our long-term vision. Every time we follow through, we strengthen those neural pathways, making discipline and focus more natural. And now, let go of any effort. So when you're ready, open your eyes. Right now, just breathe. Let any tension melt away. Trust that in this moment, you can let go. No pressure, no rush, just being here. And take a second to appreciate yourself. You showed up and you put in the effort. That's something to be proud of. Over the next few days, I want you to do two main things. One, pay attention to those little permission-giving thoughts, the ones that try to justify slipping back into old habits. What are they? And what are they really saying? Number two, whenever you find yourself in such situations, make sure what your decision-making means. Is that something that you are overlooking, you ignoring around your long-term goals? What are the pain and gain we trade, long-term versus short-term? Are they steering you closer to your goals or quietly pulling you away? Just noticing them without judgment. And only this practice gives you the power to shift, to choose differently, to realign with what truly matters. Because this life is yours. You get to decide how it unfolds. Plan, dream, grow. Every choice, every habit, every moment of awareness brings you closer to the person you want to be. Think of each day like a blank canvas, and you hold the brush, and today you painted something great. Thank you.